Hello, so in this video we're going to take a look at whether or not the driving test waiting times are being kept deliberately longer than they should be to benefit the DVSA. Now if you don't know about this, there are waiting times in the UK for a driving test of about 3 to 4 months. Now there are some areas you can get them sooner, in some it's even worse. I've heard cases of it being up to 5 months, but there's always been this long waiting time. It's been around now for years. I've been an instructor for coming up to 15 years, and this problem has existed pretty much for as long as I've been doing the job. Apart from a few years ago, the waiting times did fall to a couple of weeks at all centres across the UK. Why that was, no one seems to know. It just suddenly they all fell really quickly. But let's have a look at why the waiting times are so long, both the official explanation and the unofficial explanation. Now, when you ask the DVSA why the waiting times are so long, they'll often tell you that they simply can't recruit any more examiners because they either can't find them or they can't afford them. Now, there are 7 tests done per day, roughly, per examiner. If each driving test costs £62, that means that they're bringing in £434 a day per examiner. So I don't understand it when they say they can't afford to take more on. It doesn't make any sense because to train an examiner probably costs, £2,000 to £3,000, and they'll make that back in no time. And if they're generating an extra £400 or more a day, I don't understand when they say they can't afford to take more on, because it's like the more they take on, the more money they would make. And what does that mean when they say we're trying to recruit but we can't? Well, maybe people don't meet the standards, because it is a very high standard needed to be an examiner. But I never really understand what they mean when they just give this blunt explanation, we're trying to recruit people but we can't. Now, the unofficial reason as to why the test waiting times are so long is a bit more cynical and a bit more sinister. What it's been suggested by many instructors is that they deliberately want the waiting times to be long because it makes the examiner's jobs more secure. Now, imagine you're an examiner and you were only booked for a week ahead. That's not going to be very good for you, is it? You don't want a job where you're only booked for a week ahead. You want to know that you've got an income guaranteed for 3 or 4 months ahead at least. And it's very much like being a driving instructor. It does make me laugh when people call me up and they say, I want to do an intensive course, are you free next week? Right, just think about what you said. Do you honestly think that I just sit in my house, crossing my fingers thinking, I hope someone books in next week, I hope I get some work next week, and then an email comes through and yay, I've got work next week? It doesn't work like that. Any good instructor is going to be booked for at least 2 or 3 months ahead. Like now in November 2017, I'm fully booked until going into late February 2018. Now, this is what people are suggesting is going on with the driving test. Are they deliberately keeping the number of examiners down to keep demand high so that the waiting times are kept long? Or is it just that they simply can't find people and they can't afford to employ them anyway? Just a quick video to see what you think about this. So please have a vote on the screen now. What's the real reason for the driving test waiting times being so long? Is it because they can't find people, or is it because they just want the waiting times to be long to make the job more secure for the examiners? And of course, no one knows the real reason apart from the people working at the DVSA. And I have asked examiners, and the official reason is that they just can't recruit examiners, or they haven't got the money or whatever to do that. So let me know your thoughts on that, and I'll see you again soon for more videos.